Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. It is September 1st, 2024, and as usual, Arch Linux released their ISO for the first of the month. And of course, it's not for updating your system, it's for brand new installs. So today I'm going to go through an install using the automated Archinstall script, and they made a change in it. So it used to be that the Archinstall script would automatically give you a 200 megabyte partition for your boot. And really, that's not enough. And I was wondering why they do that, because when I do my manual installs now, I always do a 1 gig partition for boot. Well, actually, I just started doing that a few months ago. Because if you want to install more than one kernel, or even 2, 3, or 4 kernels, you're going to need a larger boot partition. And really, 200 megabytes is not enough. So the new install script, or the updated Archinstall script, is automatically giving you a 1 gig partition now. So let's take it for a spin and see if it works. So let's get to it. So I'm in a virtual machine and I boot it up to the live ISO. And first thing I'm going to do is set font tier dash 132B. And I'm going to clear the screen. Vim, etc, pacman.conf. I'm going to change this parallel downloads to 5. And I'm going to save it. Vim, etc, pacman, period D, mirror list. Let's just see what comes up. Oh, and it has constant mirror as the first mirror. And that's a good mirror. I like that mirror. I'm going to save the file. And I'm going to do Archinstall. Well, you know what? Let's clear the screen. Let's type in Archinstall. And I'm going to go to locales. And I'm going to just change this to Canada, English C8. And then go back. And I'm going to go into disk configuration, partitioning, use best effort. And I'm going to click on my 51 gig hard drive. Or is it 53? I could have sworn I made a 50 gig hard drive. Let's click it on. And I'm going to make it ext4. I don't want a separate home partition. Still going to give you a home folder, but not a home partition. And I'm going to go back. Next, I'm going to go to swap. I don't like a swap, so I'm going to say no. And host name is Arch Linux. That's good. Root password. I'm going to put my root password in. It's a weak one, but it's just for the video. User account I'm going to do after. Profile I'm going to do after. Audio I'm going to do after. Kernel I'm going to use the main Linux kernel. Additional packages I'm going to do vim git terminus font. And it's verifying that the packages are there. And now I'm going to go down. Time zone is Canada. And that's it. Now, I'm going to make an error on purpose. So, because I've already done this several times by accident, or you have to configure your network. Okay. So normally I click it on and I install Network Manager. But let's go back. Network configuration is not configured. So I do a lot of installations because I just playing with the system. I make a lot of virtual machines. Sometimes on my computers, I have 5 computers. Sometimes I just erase my hard drive and I do fresh install. Not because Arch Linux is broken. I know Arch Linux has a bad reputation. They say it breaks a lot. I've been using it for over 3 years and it never broke. Maybe it broke once or twice. That's because I was mucking around in a terminal and doing things I didn't know how to do. So what I'm getting at is that I do a lot of installations, especially for my virtual machines, because I'm always deleting my virtual machines and I make a new virtual machine for new videos. And sometimes I'm going so fast when I'm using the Archinstall script. Now, this doesn't happen when I'm doing a manual install, but when I'm doing using the automated installer, sometimes I forget to click on Network Manager. Now, the funny thing is that if you forget to configure your hard drive, or install your bootloader or make a root password or something, when you go to do the installation, it's going to give you an error message before you click install. So you can go back and fix what you needed to fix. But for some reason, it doesn't give you an error when you forget to do network configuration, and it should. So what's going to happen is when you finish your install and you load into your system, you won't have any internet access. So the only way to fix it, there's two ways to fix it. Is one is you can start all over again and do a fresh install, or you can log into your system with an ISO and fix it. So purposely today, I'm going to skip network configuration just so I can show you how to fix it. But like I said many times before, when I'm rushing, I forgot to do this by accident. So my time zone is Canada, Eastern, and everything's ready to go. So let's install. Let's hit enter. And this installation is going to take about 5 minutes, so I'm going to pause the video and come back, so don't go away. That didn't take long at all. I never even got out of my chair. I think it only took maybe 2 minutes or so, maybe 2.5 minutes. So it's a fast smear. And plus, we just did a base install anyways, right? So would you like to root into the newly created installation and perform post-install changes? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. And installation completed without any errors. You may now reboot. So let's reboot. And of course, once we log into the new system, let's just hit enter and make it full screen. We're not going to have any internet, right? So I didn't make a user yet, so I'm going to go into root and put root's password in. I'm going to do set font tier -132b, and I'm going to clear the screen. Let's just do ping archlinux.org. So we see we don't have any internet. And I made this mistake a few times. So like I said, there's two ways to fix it. We can start over and do a fresh install and remember to select Network Manager, or we can log in with a live ISO. So if this was a bare metal computer, you're going to plug in the ISO that's on your thumb drive, the Arch Linux ISO that's on your thumb drive, right? You're going to plug it in and boot onto it. But this is a virtual machine. So I'm going to shut down. I'm going to shut down now. And it's Arch Linux 5 is the one that we just did. So I am going to attach the ISO to it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to browse. I'm going to browse. I'm going to attach the ISO. And then I'm going to go into boot options. Oh, I got to apply the changes. So I'm going to change my boot options. And I'm going to go up there. I'm going to apply it. And now I'm going to play my machine. I'm going to open it. I'm going to boot into it. Now we're logging back on to the live ISO, but it's connected to our installation. And first thing I'm going to do is set font tier -132b. I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to do lsblk. And we can see the installer automatically gave me a 1 gig partition. So that's new in the Arch installer. The Arch install script before was just giving you a 200 meg boot partition. Now it's automatically giving you a 1 gig partition for your boot. So that way you can have more than one kernel. You can have 3 or 4 kernels if you want. And actually, we don't need to mount VDA1 because VDA1, that 1 gig is our boot partition. We don't need to mount it. We just need to mount VDA2. And of course, yours might be SDA2. But that's why we do an lsblk. So I'm going to mount /dev/VDA2/ /MNT. Now I'm going to type in arch -chroot, and chroot stands for change root /MNT. Okay. Now we've connected to our new system. So I'm going to do pacman-s network manager, and it's all one word. Don't leave a space, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit enter again. So we're installing Network Manager. That's done. So I'm going to clear the screen. Now I'm going to type in System Control Enable Network Manager. And that's going to make sure the Network Manager is turned on when we boot into the system. And notice this time, it's still one word, Network Manager, but this time the N is capitalized and the M for manager is capitalized. Now in the last command, we didn't capitalize the N or the M, okay? So let's hit enter. So now let's clear the screen. So now we've installed Network Manager and we've enabled it so it always turns on when we boot into the system. So let's just go back and look at the commands. So notice that when we're installing Network Manager, it's one word, but there's no capitals. When we're enabling Network Manager to start every time we boot into the system, when we're enabling it, it's still one word, but the N for network is capitalized and the M for manager is capitalized. Okay? So now we've installed Network Manager and made sure that it turns on when we boot into the system. So now we need to disconnect. So now we're going to do exit. You know what? Let's do an LSBLK. So you see, we've exited. So now we're not rooted or connected into our system, but we're still mounted to it, right? So you can see VDA2, it's /MNT. So we want to disconnect that mount. We're going to do umount -r/MNT. Now let's do an LSBLK. And now we see we're no longer mounted to the system. So now I'm going to shut down. Now, at this point, if this was a bare metal computer, I'd pull out my thumb drive. But because it's a virtual machine, I got to disconnect the live ISO. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to CD-ROM. And there's my live ISO. I'm going to say no media detected. And I'm going to apply it. I'm going to say yes. Then I'm going to go to boot options. And I'm going to click off this CD-ROM. So we're just going to boot into the system now. And I'm going to apply it. Then I'm going to play my virtual machine. I'm going to open it. And I'm going to go full screen. Okay, so now I'm going to log in as root, because remember, I don't have a user yet. I'm going to put my password in. And now let's see if we haven't. Oh, before I do that, let's do tier. Let's do set font tier -130. Oops, that's 132B. Okay, and let's see if we have internet. Ping archlinux.org. There we go, we have internet. Let's clear the screen. Oops, let's stop that. Let's clear the screen. And we could even do ping google.org if you want. Or actually, it's google.com. And there we go. We have internet. Let's stop that. Let's clear the screen. Now I want to go into Vim, etc, pacman, conf. And I just want to fix this file. Any changes you make to this file when you're doing installation doesn't copy over onto your install. So when you go into your install, you got to redo it again. So now I'm going to clear the screen. And I just want to check out my mirrors. Vim, etc, pacman d /mirror list. And I still have constant at the top. And that's good enough for now. So I'm going to clear it. All right, let's get out of there. And let's do user add /m mensch. I'm making a user. Password mensch, and it's password without the O and without the R. And I'm going to put mensch's password in. And I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do vim etc password. Oh, sorry. Sudoers. And I'm going to just do a search for root. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to give mensch all privileges. I'm going to save the file. And I'm going to clear the screen. And now I'm going to exit, and I'm going to log in as Mensch. Put Mensch's password in, clear the screen. I'm going to do mkdir. I'm going to make a directory called .config. I'm going to make sure it's there, and it's there. You can see it. And I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to download my GitLab repository. So I'm going to do vim. Oops. I'm going to do git clone https:// gitlab.com rdbus 1 / mensch.git. I think I did that right. And I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to cd into Mensch, ls it. I'm going to cd into the Arch folder, ls it. I'm going to vim into my auto file. And I'm going to install all these apps. Okay, window managers. And let's get out of there. That's it. So I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to go like that. Auto. Hit enter. Oh, I got to put my password in. Sorry about that. And we're installing all my favorite apps. 666. Ooh. 666. That's not good. Anyway, sorry. So this is going to take about 5 minutes. So what I'm doing is in case you never watched my videos before and you're new to my channel, I'm installing the Cinnamon desktop, the Awesome window manager, the Qtile window manager, and the i3 window manager. Plus I'm installing Firefox, Rhythmbox, the full LibreOffice suite, all the files and programs you need so that your media will work, your videos will work, and your music will work. All kinds of stuff. Did I say Firefox? And all my favorite apps, okay? And when it's finished installing, we're going to log into the i3 window manager. Oh, and of course, and I'm also installing all my favorite configuration files. Also uncomplicated firewall, ClamAV, everything that you would need. It's installing OBS, Kdenlive, GIMP, pretty much everything you would need. And of course, if you decide to run a script, you should go into it like I did and take a look at what the apps are. And it's almost done. Maybe I'll just pause the video for a minute. Okay, now it's finished. I'm going to ls it. And if you see halfway down on the far right, there's my run config file. So I'm going to vim into run configs. And this script is going to copy some wallpapers into my home directory. It's going to copy my configuration files into my home directory. It's going to set up and configure LightDM, my login manager or my display manager, and it's going to configure my firewall, uncomplicated firewall. I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do this. Run configs. So now I'm going to cd out of there. I'm going to go into Zesh and see if my Zesh is working, and it is. Now I'm going to switch into root and see if my Zesh configuration file is working, and I typed in the wrong password there. Let's try that again. So now I'm in root, and let's do Zesh. So I installed Zesh, and of course, my run config file copied my Zesh configuration file, and I want to make sure it's working. So now I'm going to, now that I'm in root, I don't need to do sudo. I'm going to do vim etc password without the O and without the R. And I'm going to go to the end of line 1 and change it to Zesh. And I'm going to do a search for Mensch. And I'm going to go to the line with Mensch, and at the end, I'm going to change that into Zesh because Bash was the default shell, and I want Zesh to be the default shell. So now I'm going to get out of there, and I'm going to exit again, and I'm going to reboot. Rebooting into the system, it should take me into LightDM, the login manager, or as it's properly called, the display manager. If we use our mouse and go up here, we see I have Cinnamon installed, Qtile installed, Awesome installed, and i3. So let's go into the i3 window manager. And I'm going to put my password in. And we're in the i3 window manager. And I'm just going to click that on. And the display is off. So I'm going to open a terminal. And in my Zesh configuration file, I have an alias that allows me to get into my i3 configuration file really easy. So what I'm going to do, and well, you know what? You could do this. cd into .config i3, okay? And we want to go into that configuration file. But I have an alias in my Zesh configuration file, which is going to do i3 config, okay? And I have the resolution turned off. So in my virtual machines, I need 1360 by 768. But if you're installing this in bare metal computer, you don't need that. So I have it turned off. So I'm going to activate that line. I'm going to activate volume icon too. I don't know why that's turned off. I'm going to go to the bottom. I'm going to activate position top on. There we go. Let's quit out of there. Let's close that. Let's restart. And it didn't fix my resolution. Let's quit out of there. And let's go back in. Here we go. And the resolution is fixed. And my volume icon is on. Now let's go to, let's open up nitrogen. Nitrogen. Ooh, let's close that. Let's open up LX appearance. Let's go Materia Dark. Let's click on the icon theme and go Papyrus Dark. Let's apply it. And let's close it. And also let's go into XFCE. That 4. Let's just go along here. Let's go into Power Manager settings. Let's go into Display, because I don't like my screen to go off. Let's close it. And let's go into Mod Key P. Let's go into Nitrogen. Let's hit Preferences. Let's take off Recrusa if you really want to turn this off. Okay. And let's add. Let's go to Mesh. Let's select it. Okay it. And I gave you 3 wallpapers in my install script. So let's put that one on. Let's apply it. Let's close it. And there we are. And let's see. Let's just click on the volume preference. And let's go default. Let's go show slider. And let's go white GNOME. Let's close it. And now my slider is working. And let's just do Control Mod Key P, PCMan FM. And that's my file manager. And let's open up Mod Key F. We'll open up Firefox. And there we have Firefox. And we can log out of there. Let's exit. Let's go back in and see if my wallpaper is still holding. And it is. And you could go into Mod Key P. Let's go into Nitrogen. I don't have a fast key for Nitrogen. Could do that one. Let's do open up another workspace. How about that, eh? Ooh, I like that. That's nice. And now my volume control is showing the dark theme. I had to log out and back in to get that to work properly. So let's log out. Let's log into Qtile really fast. And there's Qtile. I'm going to log out of there. And I'm going to log into the Awesome Window Manager. And there it is. Let's log back out. Let's go back into the i3 window manager. And that's it. In this video, I did a fresh install of Arch Linux using the September 1st, 2024 ISO, using the automated Arch installer. And the reason why I did this rather than a manual install is number one, I wanted to show how the automated installer has been changed. So now it is giving you by default or a 1 gig boot partition, where before it used to give you a 200 meg one, which was really not large enough. So that's fantastic. And number two, I wanted to show you how to fix it when you forget to install Network Manager. Because on many occasions when I'm using the Arch install script, several times I forgot to install Network Manager, and you can either do a fresh install, like start over again, or you can fix it the way I showed you how to fix it, by hooking up to a live ISO. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.